2, 1, live.
Welcome to another episode of Cooking with the Hobsons. We've had a really busy week with working from home, so I haven't actually done anything at all. So I figured Saturday morning, being a relaxing morning, we should do a brunch. So today we're going to make shakshuka, which is a Middle Eastern breakfast dish, and I believe it actually originates from Tunisia, which is in North Africa. And so obviously that part of Africa is also classed as part of the Middle East, or moves slowly into the Middle East. So it is from north of Africa originally, but there are so many variations from different Middle Eastern countries. So let's get straight into it, because we have communion at 12 o'clock on Zoom and we cannot be late for that. I'm going to show you what ingredients we have for it. This is such an easy recipe, and you basically just add whatever flavors and spices that you like. If you understand the region that you're cooking from, so in this case the Middle East, you can sort of figure out what you can and can't add to your dish that will complement it. So the Middle East use a lot of cumin, coriander, cinnamon, paprika, those sort of flavors. So if the recipe says use these flavors and you're just like, that's not really for me, if you understand the region from which you're cooking from, you can just adapt it to taste the way you like, but still respecting and paying homage to the region. So for our ingredients, we'll go through them really quickly. It's a really easy one, and you should have most things, maybe not the feta, but everything else I think you'd have. We've got 400 grams of canned tomatoes. I've used chopped ones, but you can also use whole ones, and you just crush them in your hands as you make them. I've got 50 mils of olive oil, and then I've got some spices here. I have salt, paprika, cumin, a little bit of cinnamon, and some black pepper as well. I've got onions and garlic here, chopped underneath there. And then for the garnish, I have feta, parsley, and I've also got chili flakes. But this is all optional. Some people like to garnish it with some olives. Whatever you want to put on top of it, you can. So let's get straight into it so that we finish in time. Oh, and of course I've got some sourdough bread, because it is breakfast. I have never made sourdough bread before, and I don't know if I can even start now, because everyone is like experts at it and I just be at the beginning of it.
And then
I didn't talk about the eggs. So I've just got some store-bought sourdough bread, and I've got 4 eggs, because these two are the main ingredients, the tomatoes and the eggs, of this dish. So I've been preheating my fry pan, so I'm just going to pour some oil into there. I won't pour it all in. I've got 50 mils. The reason I measure my oil is because I've said before, traditionally Ghanaian cooking uses a lot of oil. So I'm a culprit for using too much oil in food. So I've started measuring it out, just to be a little bit more intentional and aware of how much oil I'm actually using. So we're going to fry up our onions and garlic straight away. Of course, it smells amazing because it's onions and garlic. You can't really go wrong with that. And then I'm actually going to add a tiny bit more olive oil into there. It's still within the 50 mils that I poured it to begin with. So just saute them until they're nice and soft, and they'll cook. Mine's on a high heat, so that'll cook quite quickly. The reason it's on a high heat, like I said, is because we have a Zoom meeting for communion at 12 o'clock, and we have to finish this and eat before then. So
You made it before.
have I made shakshuka before? I haven't.
Shakshuka.
But do you know what? A lot of the food that I cook, I've never made it before. So what I often do is I'll watch a couple of YouTube videos. I'll look at a couple of pictures on Pinterest to see what should it look like. And I've eaten it several places. I've eaten it in the Middle East. I've eaten it in cafes in Australia and in England. So I do know what it's supposed to taste like. So, and I do understand how Middle Eastern food essentially works a little bit, the basics of it. So I have an idea of what I'm doing here, but it's more exciting when we don't know if this person knows what they're doing. Who knows how it's going to turn out? So from here, I'm actually going to add my tomatoes and my spices. It can go in either order. I like to add spices first because I like to cook them until they're a little bit fragrant. but it is completely up to you. Also, like I said, for those that have just joined us, just add what spices you like. You don't have to add all the spices that I've added in here, which was cumin, paprika, black pepper. What else did we put in there? Some salt and cinnamon.
Keep it on high, right?
Yep, it's on high. So you add whatever works best for you, whatever suits your palate, whatever your family like.
And chili as well, right? Well,
We're going to put that at the end,
okay.
The chili flakes. So look at that. That is beautiful, and that won't take long to cook at all. So while that's cooking, we'll just give it a few moments just to cook just a little bit. Might turn that down slightly to medium heat.
So how many people will this be for?
I'm cooking this for 2 people, but that's, I think that we're not going to be able to eat it all. I think by the time we finish, there'll probably be a little bit of the tomato sauce left. So tomorrow I'm going to make puff pastry like pinwheels for breakfast, for brunch, and I'm going to use whatever leftover tomatoes in this with ham and cheese to make those, and then I'm going to make some sweet ones as well with just cinnamon and butter. But yeah, this is okay for maybe 3 adults, I think. I always seem to cook for about 3 adults. So that's
me.
Because you eat for 2, yeah. So that's two cans of crushed tomatoes. But you can also use, if you had fresh tomatoes in your fridge, they're starting to go a bit soft, and you're not going to use them for a salad because they're just not that. They've lost that freshness to them. That would be perfect to using that. All I would do is I take the tomatoes, I put them in boiling hot, like I'd score them first, so just do a little crust at the bottom of the tomato, put it in boiling hot water. My dad actually taught me this when I was a kid. And then after a few minutes, the hot water will help, like the skin will start to come off. Put that in really cold water so that you can handle it, and then you just peel the skin off, dice up all the tomatoes, tomato seeds, juice, everything goes in there, and then you get a fresh one rather than using canned tomatoes. So that is almost ready. So what I'm going to do, I actually don't have a lid for this fry pan, which is really frustrating. So I have to use.
So use your hand.
Use a plate, a giant plate that's going to cover it. Alright, so we're going to turn that right down because when I put my eggs in, I don't want it to cook too quickly because I don't want my yolks to cook. So now it's time for the eggs. So for your eggs, I like to crack them into a ramekin or something small.
Not a Ramadan, a ramekin.
Oh gosh, it's real. Okay. Keep letting that cook. And give it a try as well, actually. I haven't done that. I'm going to try it quickly. Oh, that's beautiful. All right. Yes, I'm sure. Do you want to try it? Rude. All right, so make a little well, if you can.
Well.
Make a little well, and then just drop your egg in there. There we go.
And the eggs are vital, right? It's like you can't have shakshuka without the eggs.
Well, yeah, you really can't. Make a little well and drop it in there.
Well done.
Oh, Izzy, it's too early. It's too early for this.
So 4 eggs for, you reckon this would be okay for 3 people?
Yeah. Depending on how, oh, look how that tomato is getting like really, really rich in color. That's perfect.
That's a good sign.
That's what you want. You don't want to be eating raw tomato and cooked egg. You want the tomato to actually have some time to cook through. And then the last one, I'm just going to put the last one over here. All right.
So like, I mean, if you had
perfect
more than 3 people, like you could still.
Oh,
this is big enough, yeah.
Like double the recipe, whatever you want, however you want to do. Yeah, whatever you want to do to feed more people, just do that. So if you need to double the recipe, if you need to triple the recipe, then you do what you need to do to feed your army.
Okay, so what are we cooking?
So we're making shakshuka, which is a Middle Eastern, well, it's actually derives from Tunisia, I believe it is, in North Africa. It's a traditional breakfast that they have there, which is basically it's a base of tomato and spices. We used cinnamon, black pepper, coriander, cumin and paprika. So that's cinnamon, cumin, paprika, black pepper and salt. And so you cook the tomatoes in that. So we use 2 times 400 grams of canned tomatoes that were already chopped. Cook the tomatoes and all the spices with some onion and garlic, and then make some wells in it once the tomatoes cooked, and put your eggs into it. Now, the next step is to actually just let the eggs cook. You want the whites obviously to cook, and all that's left is the yolk all nice and runny. So
where do you go to get all the recipe and stuff?
So it's all on Cooking with the Hobsons. Well, it will be on Cooking with the Hobsons. So I'm actually going to cover that. I mean, it'd be better if I had a lid that was like see-through, because then we could see what was going on in there. But we're not so lucky today. So
you keep it on 5.
I'm keeping it on a relatively low heat because I don't want the eggs, I don't want the yolk to cook. I really just want the white to cook, and I want the yolk to be nice and runny.
So how long was your prep time before all this?
Probably about 5 minutes.
Okay.
The longest thing was probably chopping up the parsley. So when we're finished, we're going to serve it with some sourdough bread. Now you can toast your sourdough bread, but our toaster died recently, so
COVID.
It's real. So it's just going to be plain sourdough bread, and then you are going to top it with some Greek feta, some coriander. Oh no, that's actually parsley. I couldn't find coriander, and some chili flakes as well. So I'm just going to have a peep at this and see how it's going. Yep, still cooking, but still needs a little bit of time. We really want the whites to be cooked through. Your other option is you could actually put this in the oven and on a grill, and just let it the heat from the top of the grill obviously cook it. But what we're doing is we're allowing the steam to cook it. So
either one's
benefit? Fine.
Okay.
My fear with putting it in the grill is that often then it cooks so quickly, because the grill is so hot. It cooks so quickly that it cooks your yolk.
Yep.
So I just don't see the point in making shakshuka without a runny yolk.
Okay.
Frankly, I don't see the point in making any egg without a runny yolk. But
so would you send it back if you ordered in a restaurant and it wasn't?
Yeah,
runny?
absolutely. Absolutely. If I order a poached egg, I expect that yolk, that golden yolk, to be running the minute I pierce it.
Okay.
I will definitely send it back. So let that cook for a bit more time. We've got a little bit of our 50 mils of olive oil left over, so we're actually going to pour that on top at the end. That is how quick and easy it is. Like literally, you can make that. What has it been, babe?
It's been like 13 minutes.
13 minutes it's been. That is
but
insane.
you need to have a lid, right? You need to have a pan with a lid.
Well, you don't need to, but it's better to, so that you don't have to do what I'm doing here. And the other thing you want is to also be able to see how your eggs are going. Now, every time I want to look at how my eggs are going, I have to lift it up. Whereas if I had a glass lid, I wouldn't have that problem, would I? So they're still going.
Cut a hole in the bowl.
That won't be much longer.
And this is all vegan, vegetarian friendly.
Well, it's not vegan because we've got eggs, but it is vegetarian friendly. And you could make it without the eggs, I guess. I don't know what substitute I would put on this to make it vegan, but I'll ask my sister what she would do instead of eggs. Maybe they have some sort of vegan egg substitute. Mm-hmm. Maybe you could put tofu into it.
Yeah.
Tofu might work. But yeah, you substitute it with something, I guess, like the eggs. But the base of the sauce is vegan, so there's no reason why you couldn't make this for a vegan. And then obviously when you finish it, you won't garnish it with feta. You can garnish it with some vegan cheese, or no cheese at all, maybe just olives, some Kalamata olives and some coriander or parsley and some chili flakes as well. So we're almost there. Just gotta have a little bit of patience. At this point, I would definitely suggest you start, toasting your bread if you have a toaster. But unfortunately,
we can barbecue it.
We could grill it, but But we won't do that. We won't turn the barbecue on for 4 pieces of bread. We can save this bread for communion, babe.
Nice.
This last piece. I'll put that over here for us. Lovely. So it's so quick, it's so easy, it's very delicious. It feels like you're having a proper brunch out. Every time I think of shakshuka, I definitely think of like a Saturday morning at a cafe by the beach in Perth.
Where's the best shakshuka you've ever had?
Best shakshuka I've ever had. Probably in Perth. Yeah, I reckon in Perth. At a cafe out in Fremantle. That's probably the best I've ever had. Because I don't think I've had it here. Oh no, I would have had it here for sure, but I can't remember it, so it couldn't have been that memorable. Let's see how our eggs are going. Yes, they're getting there. So just left. So still just a little bit of white there. You can see a little bit of white there that hasn't cooked yet. So you don't want whites. I really hate it if the white isn't cooked properly. So give it time, let it cook.
It's a
lazy Saturday morning. Like you've got time to let it cook. Yeah?
Kitan says, for the next brunch cooking with the Hobsons, can you teach us how to make corn fritters?
Oh yes, of course. Anything for you, baby girl.
She says you're glowing as well.
Oh, thanks, boo.
That's the light on the camera.
Rude, Hobson, rude.
Say hello to some people.
All right, let me add a little bit more. Just a touch of oil. 'Cause, you know, nobody likes a dry sauce. And I was saying to Izzy this morning is that what I'm going to do is whatever sauce is left over, I'm actually going to use it for tomorrow morning's brunch. So tomorrow morning, I'm just going to get some pre-made pastry. I'm going to add some of the tomato sauce that's left over onto it, and then I'm going to put some bacon and some cheese and whatever not, and roll it up and essentially make savory puff pastry scrolls. But the flavor from this sauce will be amazing. And then on the second ones, I'm going to make just plain cinnamon sugar scroll, sort of like a cinnamon scroll, but a cheap version because I'm not making my own dough. I'm just going to use pre-made puff pastry. But that tomato sauce will be beautiful.
Claire says, do you write up afterwards? The memory isn't too good.
Sorry?
Do you write up afterwards?
Do I write up
the recipe and...
Oh, no, usually I write it the night before.
No, like, you share all the information about the recipe and everything else.
Yeah, I'm cooking with the Hobsons.
Okay, tell us then.
I didn't know what you were asking me. Yeah, so everything is I'm cooking with the Hobsons. All the recipes, all the measurements, but the actual method, so all the recipe,
it's on Instagram and YouTube,
is on Instagram on Cooking with the Hobsons, but the method we upload to YouTube on Cooking with the Hobsons. I'm so sorry, babe, I didn't know what you were asking me.
I don't know, wasn't he?
Whatever. All right, guys, I think we are almost done.
Okay, so we've got almost 20 minutes.
20 minutes, okay.
About how long on your prep was about 15 minutes?
Yeah, not even. Like, I think it only took that much time because I was just being slow. Because the reason I was being slow is because I'd just done a workout in anticipation for eating this, and my left arm was really sore, so I couldn't cut the onions properly. So that was why it took 15 minutes. You will have this prep done in no time at all.
About 7 minutes.
Less than. So, I just want to make sure that's looking really good.
So how did you decide what to cook?
How do I decide what to cook?
Yeah.
I don't know, whatever I feel like eating.
How were you inspired for this?
Actually, do you know what? One of the things that inspired me about this recipe is Mum put on our family chat, that was their 5-year living in Dubai anniversary, and I thought, the Middle East, why haven't I made something from the Middle East? We've spent enough time there, eating there, which is a lot of what we do when we go to the Middle East, isn't it, babe? I should make something that is, and I actually looked up shakshuka thinking that it was traditionally, like originally from the Middle East, and it said it was from North Africa, but I was like, nah, it's close enough, that'll do. So that's what inspired me. And also, it's one of those things that I always eat out, but never make at home. which is silly. But what the problem with making food at home for me is that it reduces my options on the menu. So I will never order something that I can make myself because I think that's a waste, right?
Yeah.
If I can make it myself, I'll just make it at home myself. When I pay you to cook for me, I want you to cook me something that I can't make. So now I can't order shakshuka anymore because it's so easy to make it at home. I've realized that. I know, it's not good, but whatever. That's life. All right, guys. Sorry, that was really loud.
It's okay.
I think we are all ready.
So shakshuka from Tunisia.
Yeah.
About 2 or 3 people.
Yeah, well, I mean...
Or you could maybe 4 or 5 people if you use small spoons.
Or you could just, you can add some more tomato. You only just need every 400 grams can of tomato, I reckon.
We've got tomatoes, we've got chili.
Yeah.
And
look at that. Look how beautifully rich this tomato sauce is.
What's in here? Cinnamon and...
So it's got cinnamon, cumin, paprika, and onions and garlic.
It's going to be really hot to taste.
I don't think so at all. Do you want to try a little bit?
Oh, can't do one thing at once.
No, I'll feed you.
Alright.
How is it?
That's really, really good.
Is it?
That is good.
Okay, good
Best shakshuka all week.
You were saying yesterday that you don't even remember eating shakshuka ever.
Because every time I taste your cooking, I just forget all the other stuff I've ever eaten.
Oh, whatever. Oh, that is good.
Alright, we've got Dan Olay on here.
That is good.
Go and get his EP.
Alright, guys. Last. That is pretty much ready. I'm going to now add...
Helen says looks delicious.
Oh, Helen, it is. The tomato sauce is so beautifully rich and it's so full of like great spices. Like we didn't overcomplicate it. It was just paprika, cumin, and I think it was a tablespoon of paprika, a tablespoon of cumin, some black pepper, and I think I used half a teaspoon of cinnamon just to add that. Oh, it's so good. I can still taste it. Oh, I love that beautiful aftertaste. All right, so now we're just going to add some crumbled feta.
Crumbled
feta that I Greek feta that I bought.
Nice.
From
so now it's Algerian and Greek.
Yeah, a little bit, but no, it's fine. It's fine. You can have feta.
Right.
It's important to
can you
treat
replace
yourself.
The feta with something else?
Yeah, absolutely. You can replace the feta with no cheese.
Are there people that don't eat feta?
Yeah, there are vegans. I think vegans don't eat feta.
Okay.
You can put no cheese in it.
All right.
You could just put some like Kalamata olives.
Nice.
And some parsley or coriander.
Okay, so we're putting
to finish it. We're finishing it off with some parsley.
Okay. This is not the end. There's still more.
There's still more. All right. There we go. And then just to finish it off, because I like it, and I'm sure Helen would agree, I'm going to add some chili flakes. And guys, that is it. That's how easy it is to make a beautiful restaurant-style brunch at home. And how long did that take us, babe? What's that?
23 minutes.
23 minutes, guys. 23 minutes. And literally about 10 minutes of prep work. How's that? Now I'm going to cover that for 2 minutes while I say that the cheese just has a little bit of time.
And then 5, right?
I'm going to, it's been on medium-low heat for quite some time. And then I'm going to serve up straight away. So let's see, I need this. Lovely, lovely.
Dan says, when's the cookbook coming up?
Oh, give me 5 years. Over promise, over deliver, under promise, over deliver. That's the one I was trying to get at. All right, so that is ready. So I'm gonna serve that up. So your sourdough bread, whatever bread you want. I think sourdough's better.
All right.
I'm just gonna pop this out for a second so that I can.
It's the first time you've made it.
It's the first time I made it at home, but I've eaten it many times. Okay, so it's okay. I know if it's wrong because I know what it's meant to taste like. I think I'm gonna need to use a different sort of tool.
Come on, need one.
Pencil. I know the pressure. Stop. All right, I think this is a better option. Better option. Yes. Okay.
Knife.
Okay, okay.
Do you need a knife?
No. So shakshuka should be eaten with your hands, really. Just take your bread, dip it in. Just enjoy it. No judgment, use your hands. Okay. Oh, you know how I don't like...
No judgment, doesn't matter, man.
No. Presentation is everything.
I'd rather have something that tastes good than something that looks amazing.
Okay, well, now you get both. There we go. That is it. So, we have a brunch of homemade shakshuka. So easy, so quick. How long did it take us, babe, in total?
26 minutes without prep.
26 minutes. And, I mean, it depends what you want to, how you want to finish it. You could have put those eggs in the grill and it would have finished in 4 or 5 minutes. So it would have been a lot quicker that way, but I wanted to cook it on the stovetop.
This is good
Served with
protein.
some sourdough bread and topped with, we've got feta and parsley to finish it off. All right, guys, that is it. So you can find the method on, you can find the recipe on Cooking with the Hobsons on Instagram, but we'll upload this video to YouTube for you to watch if you need it again. All right?
When are we back?
I don't know yet.
Okay. All right.
Bye.
See ya.